Time now for your forewarned weather with Thomas Keyboy.
Good Monday morning, Utah. Time is currently 6:11. For most of us, it's a pretty calm and comfortable start to the morning. But here's the current view from Deer Valley. And as we look towards the Uintas off in the east, we got some low-lying dark clouds out there. That's because we're going to see some subtle changes in our weather. There's a weak front that's moving its way through, but in the Wasatch back, for all intents and purposes, it's a pretty calm and comfortable start to the morning as well. So as we look on from Deer Valley, you'll see that in Park City, that temperature currently sitting at 49 degrees. While Salt Lake City's at 52. Most of us this morning are waking up with temperatures mainly in the 40s and 50s, while St. George was in the 60s throughout most of the morning, but now has briefly at least dropped into the upper 50s, currently sitting at 59. So here's a look at the forewarned radar, and you can actually see that front working its way through northern Utah. There is a little bit of moisture out there. I actually have a shower over the Great Salt Lake, and we do have some showers over towards the Uintas, Daggett County, and Uinta County. This front will be working its way through as we go through today, bringing with it a slight chance for a few showers. With the bulk of the system, though, that's driving this front down to our south, that wet weather potential won't be at all that high. However, there will be temperatures that cool off significantly compared to what we saw over the weekend. So instead of a daytime high in the upper 70s along the Wasatch Front like we saw yesterday, we'll see that daytime high in the upper 60s. That's still above our average, but that just goes to show how warm it has been. So if you've really enjoyed those well above average temperatures, you'll probably enjoy today. It just won't be quite as warm as we get to around 69 degrees in Salt Lake, and we should be around 64 degrees for your lunch hour. Daytime highs in northern Utah, mainly going to top out in the 60s with a few spots in Utah County that could sneak into the lower 70s as we get to 71 degrees in Provo. While down in southern Utah today, daytime highs will mainly be in the 60s and 70s as well, with maybe a few spots in the southeastern portion of the state sneaking into the low 80s like around Moab. But as we zoom things in here, you'll see a high of 69 in Salt Lake, while we'll get to 72 in Spanish Fork, while we'll see a daytime high of 65 degrees in Tooele. In central Utah, a high of 62 in Fairview, 78 in Green River. Then down in southern Utah, St. George likely topping out in the upper 70s compared to the mid 80s like yesterday, while Lake Powell gets to 78 degrees, and we'll see a daytime high of 67 degrees over in Monticello. So let's go ahead and begin the futurecast, and I'll stop this afternoon showing the front slowly working its way through with maybe a slight chance for a few showers in the northern half of the state, mainly favoring the high terrain, but maybe about a 10 to 20% chance along the Wasatch Front. As we go from tonight into tomorrow, that front starts to move away to the east, looking at mostly sunny skies for our Tuesday with daytime highs that should be within a few degrees of where we should be for this time of year. And then by Wednesday, that's likely going to be a day of transition, because once we get into Wednesday and Thursday, our next front will likely start to work its way through, and that's going to result in even bigger changes in our weather story by the time we get into the second half of this work week and into this upcoming weekend. Let's show you the mechanics of it going through the upper level futurecast. So the cold front that's moving through today is being driven by an upper level low pressure, with the core of it missing us down to the south. That's why our wet weather potential isn't all that high. As that low pressure works its way from west to east, we have more of that zonal flow, and then we see our next system move in on Thursday. This system will likely drop our temperatures a little bit below where they should be for this time of year, and we could be talking about a pretty decent chance of wet weather through the northern half of the state. And forecast models are agreeing more that we'll see a trailing system move in by this weekend. And if this system actually works its way through, which it's becoming increasingly likely, then daytime highs could drop well below where they should be for this time of year, with a decent chance of wet weather across the entire state. So we have quite a few changes coming our way in the weather world across the Beehive State, with daytime highs a little bit above average today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Then you can see that drop off going into Thursday and Friday. Then we could trend even cooler by this upcoming weekend. And as I mentioned, we could be talking about a pretty good chance of wet weather, and over the next 7 days, we could potentially maybe pick up an inch of moisture in Salt Lake. So while we'll likely be looking at valley rain and mountain snow, again, we're moving into a much more active pattern after staying warm and dry for such an extended period of time. And St. George will be in the mid to upper 70s over the next few days. Overnight lows close to 50. Then we add in a slight chance on Thursday. And by Sunday, with that trailing system, a high could drop into the 50s in lower Washington County. Then along the Wasatch Front, slight chance for today, upper 60s, middle 60s tomorrow, then close to 70 degrees on Wednesday before we bring in a better chance for showers Thursday into Friday. Highs dropping into the 50s before we could drop into the 40s with that trailing system on Saturday into Sunday along the Wasatch Front.